Actually, my mother, when I was in her womb, my father sang to me every day. And when I was a baby, if I cried, they played music, I stopped crying. Before I could walk and I could just stand up, they would play the Stevie Wonder song. And I would dance so hard that I looked like I was, gonna hurt myself. And when I was 5, I was in my first talent show and I sang at school. And my parents saw me perform for the first time and they were like, "Oh my God, who is that child?" And when I was 9, I got in the group Destiny's Child. We were friends from school and we all loved singing. And we decided we would, sing in this group together. And we had so much fun because we were so young and we all had this passion for performing and singing and dancing and dressing up in the costumes. And because we were friends, it was just like a dream, it was a dream childhood. I was really shy. I loved being around my friends, which were the other group members. We were like sisters. And I was really serious, really focused, and I loved to write music and I loved to sing. My father slowly started helping us pay for studio time, and he would let us, my mom and dad would let us rehearse over at their house. And every summer, all the girls would come to my house and we would practice, and then my dad would start helping us practice. And more over a couple of years, he started getting more and more involved because he saw the potential we had and he saw how hungry we were for it. And my mother supported the household because she owned a hair salon. And my father, for a year or so, stopped his job and became our full-time manager. I was pretty fortunate as a kid, and we had 3 cars and a nice sized house. We were middle upper class. Money wasn't really an issue until right before we got our record deal. My mother owned one of the most successful hair salons in Houston. So when we first got the deal, we were 12, and we were so excited. We cried. We were just like, "Oh, it's gonna happen. We're gonna be like in Vogue," And then we got dropped, and that was devastating for us. But shortly we got another record deal, and that time we were still excited, but we knew the reality that doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of people with deals that never come out. It took us 2 years to do the album, and I think we were trying to find ourselves. And when you're 13, what do you sing about? And our voices were so mature. When people would hear us sing and they wouldn't believe we were 13, we looked a lot older. And because we worked for so long, we were a lot more mature. So it was just kind of confusing when we were 13. When we were 15, 16, by that time we just grew up and we knew what we wanted and we had time to really find ourselves. So it really worked out great that it took 2 years. Right before we got on the Men in Black soundtrack, it was that we had the date of our album already put out and it was about to happen. And we sang for him a cappella, Wyclef. And he really loved us because we really could sing. We had talent. And he said he wanted to work with us, but he was on tour. So we had 30 minutes to work with him in the studio before he had to get on the plane and go to the next city. And we came up with No, No, No in the studio, and it became the first single. I remember the first time the song played on the radio. I was driving all of us in the car to pick up my sister from school, and we got out of the car. We parked in front of her school and the song came on the radio. We all got out of the car. We just started running and screaming and singing and clapping and dancing and hooping and hollering, and just, it was amazing. And my sister's bell rang and all the kids ran out. She was in middle school and she was looking like, I know that's not my sister, and the girls running, like, what are they doing? So she's walking, she's embarrassed because all her friends are around, and then she hears the song, she drops her bags and she starts running. When we lost 2 members, it was really devastating, and we thought, what do we do? We didn't know what to do, actually. My mother and I got on the plane and immediately just started looking for girls. We were terrified, but it worked. And Michelle, we're like really good friends now. We appreciate each other and respect each other, and that was one of the best things that ever happened to us. when I co-wrote Bills, Bills, Bills with Candy and the other girls, we loved the song, but we didn't agree with it because it was saying, can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? And it seemed very gold digger, and that's not what we're about. So we said, well, why would we sing this song? Why would we ask the guy to pay our bills? The only way we would ask the guy to pay our bills is if he ran the bills up. So that's what we wrote in the verses, but no one really listened to that. The guy is, you know, running up the phone bills. He's using the car, not filling the gas tank back up. He's using your phone, all different things, and just not helping out. So that's why we're asking them to pay the bills. But people just listened to the chorus and they didn't get the song. I was so frustrated with that. I wrote Independent Woman. I went in the studio just out of pure anger. And Columbia heard it and said, that's the single. That's the first single for Charlie's Angels soundtrack. And I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that it was going to be the first single. We didn't know it was going to be a video or anything. And right before that is when the group became 3 members. And we thought this is perfect because it's 3 members of Charlie's Angels and it's 3 of us, and this song is so strong and the video was so great. It was a perfect avenue for us to become a threesome. We all knew we would want to do something individually solo after Survivor, because we had been in a group since we were 9, and we were at that age, you know, 20, 21, where you kind of feel like you need to do something on your own. And all of us knew that we're all so talented and all loved different types of music. Michelle always wanted to do a gospel record before she got in the group. And Kelly always loved alternative music. I always wanted to do a soul album. So we said, well, let's do it. We'll do it together, and within the same period of time, one person to go first, the next person to go next, the next person to go last, so we don't compete with each other. It's you in the studio, it's you on the stage, so you are free to do whatever's in your heart. Even though I love being in a group because I love collaborating with people and I love being around other talented people, but it's just a different, it's just different. I always loved Donny Hathaway. I always loved that classic soul music, and I did that in this record. And as far as the performances, I always wanted to do things with my performances and dance differently and do different things, even though I loved everything we did with Destiny's Child. And when I finished, it wasn't going to be the first single, and then 2-3 days before I serviced the song to the radio, it was going to be Naughty Girl. I said, for some reason I wanted to be Crazy in Love. I just feel better about this as the first single. I thought the only thing missing was an element of hip hop, because people sometimes need to hear hip hop to accept a track because they can relate to it a little more. So I asked Jay-Z, could he do it? And he did. And then I said, all right, it's gonna be Crazy in Love. And it ended up being the biggest song of the summer. I don't work myself as hard as I used to. I used to because I just thought I had to, you know, just too young to know any better. But now I've had time to really think about things, and I make sure I get 2 vacations a year, and I make sure I don't work myself to death, because I've seen too much and too many people wear themselves out for no reason.